Savvy Central Radio's official sponsor for our third annual aviation month is Winty Aviation T-Shirt Art. Winty is an aviation-themed t-shirt business designing and printing aviation-related graphics for pilots, aviation businesses, and aviation enthusiasts worldwide. Winty can print 1 or 100 garments upon request within a reasonably low turnaround time, including a one-stop shop solution for all your graphic art needs, from logos, business cards, book covers, and banners. Contact winty.com today in order to find out how your design could become a reality.
Get ready and start your engines for our third annual aviation month on Savvy Central Radio, where 8 aviation businesses share their knowledge and wisdom.
Our guest today is Abingdon Welch, CEO and founder of the Abingdon Company. The Abingdon Company began producing boutique high-end timepieces for aviators and avid travelers since 2007. Abingdon followed her dreams and created a successful business, earned her pilot license, became a certified flight instructor, SCUBA-diver, and even starred in the hit TV reality show Flying Wild Alaska. Today, Abingdon joins us to share exciting updates at the Abingdon Company and impart some invaluable nuggets of business wisdom, from how to secure capital for your business and ideas to innovate and keep your brand fresh. To find out more about Abingdon and her company, go to theabingdonco.com. Hi, Abingdon. Welcome back to Savvy Central Radio. How are you?
I'm doing great, Christina. It's good to be back on your show. I love your show.
I love you being here. You were here for our second annual aviation month, and now you're here for our third annual aviation month. And girl, you have some exciting changes at the Abingdon Company. Share with our audience a little bit about yourself and the Abingdon Company for those who might not have tuned into the previous episodes.
Absolutely. Well, I have been a pilot since 2006. I used to be a demo pilot for Cirrus Aircraft and for Lancair. Now I actually ferry airplanes around the world, mainly to Australia and Asia. Most people know me from my appearance on Flying Wild Alaska. I was Ariel Tweto's flight instructor during season 3 on the last season. And so I got to spend some time up in Alaska flying around up there and getting filmed on it. But one of the, probably the biggest thing that I do is I started the Abingdon Company, which is female pilot watches in the most generic term. I launched that company back in 2007, about a year after I got my pilot's license. And it was as a result of getting together, talking with other women pilots and how we were so frustrated that they didn't have products for women that flew, including a good watch. And as we all know, us pilots are defined by what we wear on our wrists. So they always say, do you know what the saying is? I think it's, you can always tell a pilot by the size of their watch, something like that.
I've never heard that.
So now us ladies have some big watches too, but we also have some small ones too. Basically, the idea was to combine function and fashion. We're not just because we're female doesn't mean we like small pink stuff. We like other varieties in our accessories. So 7 years later, I've got 10 different watches, jewelry lines, apparel, and a brand new website, theabingdonco.com. But of course, if you can't spell that, just always search female pilot watches. You'll find it. And yeah, it's just been an absolute wild ride since we last spoke a year ago. Things have just skyrocketed.
Wow.
So.
And I love your new jewelry, and your new website is phenomenal. It's very light and easy to navigate.
Thank you.
Yeah, phenomenal change. Now you have some other cool things coming about, and you're switching gears and making watches now, designing watches for scuba divers.
Yep.
How did that come about that you decided to go in that route?
So I've been dive certified since 2011. I actually was introduced to diving by pilots. I went on to a trip, the Central America trip that the Baja Bush Pilots does every January, February. And basically what they do is it's a group of pilots that all have their own airplanes, and everybody just flies down to Colombia and back. And sometimes they cross over Cuba. Sometimes they just go through Central America. And I went on this trip because I've always wanted to fly internationally. And this was before I started ferry flying. So you could see what kind of influence this trip had on me. Mm-hmm. I took my first dive in Bocas del Toro, Panama. And I didn't even need a wetsuit. I mean, the water was so warm. I got to play with jellyfish. They have like a jellyfish that doesn't sting. And we were just playing with them. And it was just such an amazing experience that less than a year later, I was certified. I got certified in Puerto Rico, also visiting with a bunch of pilots. So I'm finding that a lot of pilots really love to dive. And I started talking to some of my customers, and they were saying, oh my gosh, that would be amazing to have a dive watch, because just like female pilot watches, there's really nothing in the female dive market. So that's where the idea came about. And I ended up pulling together a group of women that are Abingdon owners. This happened almost 18 months ago. And what I did was a call to action on the Facebook fan page for the Abingdon Company. So, I recommend being a fan of the Abingdon Company on Facebook, because sometimes you get these little things that pop out, and you might get asked to design one of our watches. That's basically what we did. So I put a call out and said, which Abingdon customers are master divers, dive instructors, and so forth? And I got a group of about 8 women. And we pulled together, and over the past 18 months have been designing this dive watch.
Wow. So what are the features that are particular to a dive watch, say, to an aviation watch?
Oh, sure. Well, one of the key things that any Abingdon watch has is a rotating bezel. We can always do something other than just tell time on any of the Abingdon watches. So, of course, a dive watch has what's called a diver's bezel that you set for timing how much air you have in your O2 tank that you got strapped to your back. It's a unidirectional bezel, and so, of course, any standard dive watch is going to have that featured. This one does as well. We made it nice and grippy, but we made it strong but still fluid. So where you could either turn it with gloves or you could turn it with your bare hands. We put a mother of pearl face. We put a fully luminous dial for those that are really deep sea divers. So the entire watch will glow if you want it. Now the pearl won't glow. But the hour markings and the hands will glow on any of the pearl dials. So you've got your option between the 2 different dials. One of the biggest things that you won't find with a woman's dive watch, because usually they're the cheaper $100 watches that you can just pick up at Target. And yeah, sure, they've got water depth, but they're battery operated. Well, that doesn't help when 2 years later your battery dies and you got to open up the watch. You've lost all your waterproofness, if you will. So we said, well, screw that. No batteries. Let's make it automatic. So this is an automatic watch that requires absolutely no batteries. You wear it and it works. End of story. So that's going to be huge. It goes down to 330 feet. And it even has on the band, which I didn't even know this existed, but this group of women, God bless them, they just knew exactly what they wanted and what was lacking in the market. There's what's called a band expander. And these are on metal bands because, once you have a metal band size on a watch, you can't really adjust it like you could a leather band or a rubber band. So this has a titanium band for lightness and for strength that also includes hidden inside a band expander. So you could either fit it over your wetsuit or on your wrist without having to change anything.
Wow.
How cool is that?
I want to go and start to learn to dive. Girl, I have to tell you, it's now like 12 years ago, I went to a dive instructing thing at Space Camp because part of Space Camp was getting down, and you could go 7 feet down and dive, and you had to put the whole wetsuit on, and the whole premise of it was to work on a fake spaceship.
Nice.
But you had to go down far enough that you did need a tank and that you couldn't come up quickly because you could get a little bit of the bend, not a huge effect, but you had to, so in order to let them go all the way down 7 stories, you had to prove that you could disengage from your equipment and re-engage. And that just totally freaked me out. So I ended up not being able to certify to go all the way down to work on the fake spaceship. But ever since then, I've been totally enamored with the idea of going diving and seeing the world down below. And now we have a way that, I mean, how important is it that you know how much oxygen is your tank? Very important.
Oh, of course.
All the different features of the watch, from being able to see very far down underwater to being able to move that dial very easily with or without your gloves.
Yeah.
Awesome features, girl. Now you make me want to go on and attempt it again.
And I did throw in a few aviation aspects. I won't give away all of the secrets of the watch, so you have to go and check it out. But there's some really neat aviation little tools on there as well. So you've got to see, Christina, there's a video on YouTube. Somebody sent it to me, and it's a guy that pilots an airplane, not that far up. I want to say he might be in like a caravan or something like that. But he's piloting an airplane. He hands the controls over to the co-pilot. He straps on a parachute, jumps out of the plane, parachutes down into the water, disconnects from the parachute, swims down to the ground and of the floor of the sea, and picks up his diving vest with his tank, which is sitting there waiting for him, and then goes and dives. How insane is that?
Wow. That is awesome.
It's totally cool.
Wow. So was it a really hard move or certification to go through the process of getting a dive certification, or?
No, I wouldn't say it was very difficult. It took 3 days, and I believe, if I recall correctly, it's 4 or 5 dives. And you do have to do those things that you were talking about, where you have to take off your equipment and then put it back on. And really, I mean, that helps if you ever got caught on something underneath and your equipment came off, then you want to know how to be able to put it back on. So it's stuff like that is just all basic safety training. And no, it was a lot of fun. It's a lot easier than getting your pilot certificate, I'll tell you that much.
Absolutely. And one of the things they told me when they were training us, and this was not by any means a certificate for diving, was basically they just want to make sure that if you become disengaged also from your oxygen, you don't freak out, because they don't want you trying to fly up.
Exactly.
And hurt yeah. So that's the whole point. But you had a really interesting thing I saw launched on your page, that you are launching this new product with Kickstarter. So tell us why you decided to use crowdfunding as a revenue source to score this new venture.
Well, there's a few reasons why we decided to go with Kickstarter. I've never used Kickstarter before, and this is a big jump for me. I'm kind of going into uncharted territories. But the production of the watch, being the fact that it is automatic, that it's titanium, that it's going down to these depths, this is a huge undertaking, project-wise. I mean, I've never spent 18 months designing a watch, but I mean, it's the best it could possibly be. And then fiscally, this, because of all the extra features, most of the watches that you find that have these features are up past $5,000, $10,000. So having something that is going to be as complete as it is, it's taking my production costs well past what my other models cost. So there is that assistance that Kickstarter provides when you can crowdfund a project as cool as this one. Other reasons is that, we want to be the first on the market that is recognizing, just like we were with our pilot's watches, we want to release something that recognizes, hey, there's women out there that do really cool stuff. We like to sweat, we like to fly, we like to dive, we like to get into these crazy adventurous activities. Let's be the first on the market so other watch companies, other companies will recognize, oh, there is another market. So we can create competition. I don't want to be the only watch company out there that does all these things. I'd love to have Michael Kors start making pilots' watches, or Chanel or Gucci start making women's dive watches. How cool would that be? It would only make my products even better. We have to compete in order to become better. So there is that. Also, this year has been really big on looking at investors right now and bringing the company up to the next level. Having a platform like Kickstarter helps show the face of the company, because it's such an interactive campaign. For what we're doing is 37 days. And so we want to have something where investors who are looking at the company are able to see just what we're doing, how we operate without being physically in our offices. So this is a great way for them to do that. And you mentioned our new website. That was another reason that investors are starting to take a serious look at us. So we have that. And also, with the campaign, I mean, it's designed to bring down the final MSRP. So the more that we can raise in the Kickstarter, the lower the final price is going to be for customers. So that's going to be big. And, one of the last things that we want to do with Kickstarter, and this is something that we've already done really with our crew base on Facebook, on Twitter, on all of our social media, and even just emailing with our current customers, we call them the crew. And they really are. We feel like we've built such a community with our customers. I recognize when I see a customer, calling in or emailing in or ordering a new watch or ordering a new band for their current watch, I know that customer. I recognize their name. I know who they are. I've talked to them at Oshkosh. I've talked to them at other air shows. I've partied with them. I've gone out to dinner with them. We have this huge community of female aviators. And I would love to do that with the dive world as well, and to create that community, because the community element is so important. And I think businesses really do forget just how important their customers are sometimes. All they're interested in doing is just selling a product. I'm really interested in building a community of women who do these crazy things. And so that's really kind of using Kickstarter is going to help with all of those different aspects. It's one of the reasons why we decided to go with it.
Girl, you're the most savvy business owner I've ever met. I kid you. Seriously, when you said I want other watch companies out there to be selling watches like me, I don't want to be the only one on the market, because if I have competition, I'm that much better. And you're so right, because out there, small businesses in the United States are really make us strong as a nation. Mm-hmm. And you're absolutely right. As you have more businesses out there making the product maybe in a slightly different way, it gives you ideas. Okay, how can I push it, make it a little bit better, a little bit different, a little bit more unique? And on top of it, building the community. When we include our customers and the entire world in our product, it just makes us all, you're not doing it alone anymore. You're not a business owner of one. You're a business owner of the entire globe. Exactly. And, it's my customers that really keep me going. So we talked about this last year. Yeah. Running your own business is being your best slave. That's really what it comes down to. And I have wanted at times to give up, but it's really my customers that pull me through, and they probably don't even know that. But when I got a letter from a gal, Lacey was her first name. I'm blanking on her last name. She probably wouldn't want me to say it over the air anyway. But she sent me a package. She sent it to the company address, and it was a box of chocolates. And it wasn't anything big, but she was touring around vacationing in Europe. She had just owned her watch several months before, and she decided to send us a box of chocolates and to thank us for having her be a part of the crew, and how she thought it was so cool that there was this watch out there and that she was wearing it around Europe. And I was just blown away, absolutely blown away. And so it's when my customers do things like that, that it just makes me want to be better for them. So I love the community aspect of this company. Yeah, I do too. And I think a lot of businesses can learn from this model to realize that you don't have to go it alone. Your customers can be part of your team and help create even better business when you include them as part of the crew, as you said. And exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, you're a woman entrepreneur, and there are many women entrepreneur these days are opening their own business. Do you think there's an edge to being a women entrepreneur as opposed to a male entrepreneur? Yes and no. I really don't think it has so much to do with gender. Of course, they have all those statistics about how men operate in certain ways and women operate in certain ways. But I feel that the reality is really on an individual basis. I think you have to have passion and you have to have tenacity. And you could be a male or a female. And as long as you have those qualities, that's what's really going to give you an edge over somebody that's doing a business. And I'll tell you, I was very encouraged, when you asked me,
well, why did you guys decide to go with Kickstarter? Well, I was very encouraged. There was a lot of articles online about the growing segment of successful crowdfunding projects that were being created, managed, and led by women. And that was one of the things that, there's always been strength between women entrepreneurs in that we love supporting each other. And Kickstarter is a natural platform to support one another. So I think that at least one of the things that women have, and I can't say if men have this or not, because I'm not a man, but I think that women do really value what we're doing as one woman to another woman. And I think that is very, very crucial in succeeding in business. Nobody can do something alone. We have to rely on other people. And they rely on us. And, just as much, I don't want to break this down too much with you, Christina, but you have a show to run. And if you don't have guests, if you don't call on me to say, come be on my show, then you wouldn't have a show. Mm-hmm. And, if you're on my press list and you got the information about the dive watch, so you found it to be really interesting. So now you're helping me promote it. So we're two women business owners who are supporting each other right now. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that are really cool about women. Since I've sent out this press release, you're one of the first ones to reach out and get an interview. So yeah, I do think that's one edge,
Yeah, most definitely. And I've seen that with women. By nature, I think we tend to be very relationship oriented. So I think that's part of the reason we kind of pay attention to relationships and customers more a little bit. But I think it's something men can definitely do. If you're a male entrepreneur, you can add that in there.
Totally.
But yeah, totally. But what I'm noticing when you said edge, I thought of your recent marketing campaign where I thought, girl, that was pretty slick. And I remember when I saw it on your Facebook page, I was like, I'm confused. Should I be congratulating a boy or girl? Explain to me a little bit about your marketing.
So I have to give all the credit in the world to Mike on my marketing team on this one. He had been so excited. He's been in charge of all the social media. And so we'll talk each morning about what we're going to announce. And being as that there's a lot of big news right now, we always have something new to announce every day. And so he was saying, yesterday, I think it was, that he's been really excited that he wants to post up this image that says, "We're expecting." And it was light pink and light blue. And, he's talking to me about it like, this is the idea. Should we do this? And I'm like, let's do this. Go for it. And we went for it. And of course, we're expecting in 2015 is when the dive watch is going to be released. Even though we're kickstarting it right now, we're looking at releasing it because we need to raise that money for the manufacturing. So we're going to release it in 2015. So we're expecting got posted. I posted it on my news feed. He posted it on the company page. And oh my gosh, can I cuss? Because shit hit the fan. If you need to bleep that out, then go for it. But I was getting blown up on my phone. I mean, I had to call my mother just to make sure that she didn't see it first on Facebook. I had to tell her, listen, I'm not pregnant. And everybody was just like, congratulations, and of course, because I just got engaged also a couple months ago. So Sean and I, of course, everybody's probably thinking that this is going to be now a shotgun wedding, but we are not pregnant. We are expecting a watch. And it was an incredibly successful introduction to how this dive watch is going to be released, because we are expecting a watch. But no, there's no babies in the mix. It's just watches.
But here's the cool thing about it. And I had someone on my show last year. He's a marketing guru in Denmark, and he's written like 9 bestsellers. But he said the one thing that small business owners in particular have over huge businesses like McDonald's and Sony is that you can play around. You can get creative and unique and push buttons or, do something unexpected. Like if McDonald's said we're expecting, people are like, what? But see, this allowed you to use something very creative, but get people's attention in a big way.
Definitely.
In a positive
definitely.
way too.
Yeah. So it gave a good chuckle to a lot of people. A lot of people ended up really confused, but overall, I think the effect was a positive one.
Yes, it was. And I'm so glad for your new watch. Congratulations on your new watch.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I definitely want to encourage people to search Abingdon Company and Marina on Kickstarter. Give your support in any way possible. Either share the link with a friend if you know somebody who dives, or even just posting it on your wall. That it doesn't take any money at all. It just takes, a minute of your day. And the more word that we can get out, the better this campaign is going to be. Because if we don't raise that manufacturing money, then we won't be able to manufacture it. So then it won't come out. I will have miscarried, if you want to go back to our exactly. And we don't want to do that. And then of course, if you believe in this project, believe in the company, and think it's a really cool idea to come out with, then some may spend $1. Some you might already have several Abingdons, and you want to pledge $20 for a T-shirt. Kickstarter is great in that there's a lot of incentives involved. In fact, even if you wanted to name the watch and you wanted to name it after somebody that you love, you can pledge money and name the watch yourself, and it will forever be on an Abingdon watch. So there's all sorts of different levels that somebody can help promote this. And I would be so, so grateful if you either just shared or pledged or just helped us out in whatever small way you possibly can. That would be fantastic.
Awesome. And let them know before we head on out here where they can pledge and where they can find out more about the Abingdon Co.
Absolutely. So the Kickstarter campaign launches on Tuesday, and that is actually Tuesday, November 18th. So it will have just launched. If you go to Kickstarter.com, then you can just search dive watch, women's dive watch, anything like that. And we're going to be the only one that comes up right now. Of course, you can always go to our website too, theabingdonco.com. And I can spell that out for you like a pilot. That's www.Tango Hotel Echo Alpha Bravo India November Golf Delta Oscar November Charlie Oscar.com. And there, of course, will be information all over the homepage about clicking over to the Kickstarter on there. Our Facebook fan page, our Twitter, our Tumblr, our WordPress, all of our social media outlets will be talking about it for the next 37 days. We're trying to raise $62,000 in 37 days. So we need all the help we can get.
And that should be no problem for you guys because you rock.
Christina.
But you offered some of the best advice and business advice and strategies we've had on the show since we've started. So to head on out, is there any last tips or strategies you'd like to offer any business owners out there?
Oh, gosh. Keep pushing. This year, every year I set down 2 goals for what I want to accomplish for that year. And in January, my 2 goals for 2014 were retailers and investors. Retailers, I've been able to set up over a dozen new retailers this year that are carrying Abingdon Co products, which is fantastic. But it's really the investors that taught me about business. And when they pushed my limits, I've been approaching investors all year long. They were asking me questions about every single aspect of my business, and I had to figure out what was important to them and why. And what I realized was that the questions that they're asking, the reason that it's important for them is they want to see where the profit is. They want to see where the dollar is. If they're going to put in 50 cents, they want to get back $1. If they want to put in $1, they want to get back $10. And they want to see, how is this company growing? What are you doing in order to make it grow? Before I was asked all these tough questions, and I'll tell you, Christina, I stumbled at the very beginning. Mm-hmm. I was not able to answer these questions. Now I am, and that's one of the reasons why you see the new dive style, one of the reasons why you see the new website, one of the reasons why you're going to see a lot new things happening in the next few months with this company. I had to get myself in the same frame of mind that they were asking, because otherwise I'm just a young 31-year-old girl that has a little company like a hobby. If I can't make this thing grow and be appealing to an investor or somebody who wants to put in money, then I don't have a business. I just have a hobby. So what I would challenge any business owner out there to do is to start asking themselves questions that investors would ask them if they were interested in selling their company or if they were interested in gaining investment. They'll end up pushing their company so much further down the lines. I've had more ulcers and nosebleeds and headaches and lack of sleep and everything else this year than I've ever had in 7 years of building this company. But the company has grown so much bigger and better than I could have ever imagined. So that would be my piece of advice.
Wow, you kick butt, girl. Well, thanks. That's phenomenal advice to end out our time together. And thank you again for coming to our 3rd annual Aviation Month.
Thank you, Christina. I'm so glad you had me on again.
For your chance to win an official Savvy Central Radio 3rd Annual Aviation Month t-shirt, like our page at facebook.com/Savvy Central Radio. For those interested in joining our Savvy family or being a paid sponsor or interviewing with us, contact us at savvycentralradio@gmail.com or 718-713-2289. And remember, we want to host the programming you're interested in. If you have a guest you'd like to hear on Savvy or a topic you'd like us to cover, please let us know.